since I was 15, I knew I was going to open a restaurant. I'm 25 today, and for 10 years, I didn't think of doing anything else with my life. I picked all my IB subjects, and even my university because of this. I picked Boston University because it had a great hospitality and management program. While most people were figuring out what they wanted to do with their lives, I knew, I was sure. But what I didn't know is what kind of restaurant I was going to open. So what I did is I took an opportunity of the fact that I was there and I ate my way across the country. New York, LA, Boston, Miami, Vegas, everywhere. Honestly, I was looking for inspiration, motivation, and I was just really, really hungry. Okay, and trust me, I tried it all. Like, all your fads, your cronuts, your freak shakes, sushi burgers, the rainbow grilled cheeses. I tried the unicorn lattes and unicorn everythings. I tried cuisines I'd never tried before. Canadian, Tex-Mex, Peruvian, even Korean. I went to restaurants whose names I couldn't pronounce, ordered things I couldn't pronounce, ordered things I didn't even know were edible. Went to restaurants that were serving only ramen and only chocolate. I can go on and on, but you get the point. I ate all of this and I gained a lot more than the freshman 15 pounds that I should have. But I still couldn't understand what makes a restaurant special. So let me ask you this. What's your favorite restaurant? And why do you love it? I'm not talking about the fancy Friday night restaurant. I'm talking about the one that you can go to on a Monday and then go again on a Wednesday because you love it. Why do you love it? Is it the food? Is it the ambience? Or is it how it makes you feel? No one quite defines the soul of a restaurant like my personal food hero and a great restaurateur himself, Danny Meyer. He says a great restaurant is one that just makes you feel like you're not sure whether you went out or you came back home. It confuses you. If it can do both those things at the same time, you're hooked. One of my favorite restaurants growing up, and still remains to be the same, is this fast casual restaurant which serves Gujarati and Maharashtrian food near my house. I've eaten all across the world, but that still remains to be my favorite restaurant. I mean, go figure, right? When I was in America and eating my way across the country, there was this food movement going on of vegan farm-to-fork cuisine, and it's something that really resonated with me. There were these suave vegan chefs that were doing some really, really interesting things with their produce. They were treating their ingredients with so much care, and they were highlighting their beauty so much. This is something that really resonated with me because as a vegetarian, when I went out to eat, a lot of the menu was always paneer, cheese, and masala. And this is something that never really resonated with me because this is not how I ate at home. When I ate here, there was such a major focus on the textures and the tastes. I remember this one particular dish that I ate, and that still is very memorable for me. It was this humble sweet potato dish where the sweet potato was cooked in 3 different ways. Now, it was so simple and easy to understand, I could taste all the ingredients. I didn't have to be a food critic or even use Google to understand what was what. My palate was enough. When I was eating this, because it was so easy for me to understand, it made me very nostalgic. I started missing my mother. And no, it's not because this is how my mother cooks sweet potato at home. It's just the entire experience of eating it. It was so clean and so fresh. And it really made me miss her. I went so far to understand something that I already knew. Why are so many of us so confused by something as simple as what we eat? Something that fuels our lives on a daily basis. I blame a lot of this on the media. There is so much misinformation and half information. Just for example, think about what's happening in this whole healthy food space. 40 or so years ago, it came out that saturated fats are bad for you because they cause cholesterol, which lead to heart attacks. This led to everyone saying, oh, fats are bad, avoid fats. There was no distinction between good fat and bad fat. It was just fat, and it was bad for you. So all your grocery stores had all these low-fat products, and people jumped on the bandwagon and started buying them because they thought they were being healthier. But what they didn't realize is they were having high carbs in the form of saturated starch and sugars. Sure enough, a couple of years later, this information came to light, at which point people are like, well, fats are not bad, it's the carbs, which is when people were like, okay, we'll have high protein and low carbs. When I look at this, it makes me laugh. I'm like, why do we look at nutrition as so segmented? Why can't we look at the way we eat more holistically? No wonder we're so confused. Why can't we just take a cue from the US Navy and just kiss? You know, keep it simple, stupid. And that's exactly what we did at Candy and Green. Our food philosophy focuses on ingredient-centric eating. What this means is that we don't focus on a particular cuisine. We highlight the ingredients that are in season, and we use different cuisines and cooking techniques to highlight the beauty of this produce. We also focus a lot on clean eating. And let me tell you something about clean eating. It's deceptively simple. It's not about counting your calories or carbs. It's about having ownership about what you eat and about knowing where it comes from and having minimally processed food. To promote this idea of clean eating at Candy and Green, we serve our customers the freshest produce. We serve really good quality ingredients. For example, things like the oil your food is cooked in, it's so often overlooked, but it's so crucial. We also use a lot of things like locally sourced produce, like cheeses, milks, honeys, whenever possible. We use no preservatives and no MSG, and everything, including the breads and the sauces, are made from scratch. People find it very scary to eat well in the city, and I don't blame them. Look at the things that have entered our food chains: adulterates, pesticides, chemicals. But I wanted to show people that it's not so difficult to eat well in the city. That's why at Candy and Green, we set up a 750 square feet rooftop farm. Over here, we grow a lot of our own greens, microgreens, leafy greens, herbs. We grow small produce like chilies, edible flowers, depending on the season. On our rooftop, we focus on three main things. We focus on sustenance, seasonality, and sustainability. While I was preparing for this talk, I read this one very interesting article. It came out in 2002, and it was reported by the Toronto Globe and Mail. It said that customers then would have to have 8 oranges to get the same amount of vitamin A that their grandparents would have to get from 1 orange. Shocking, right? I thought so too, so I read it till the end, and I was like, well, how do you deal with the declining nutritional content in our produce? The answer was really simple. Use healthier soil. When we were setting up the rooftop farm at Candy and Green, the entire team was very closely involved. Everyone from the kitchen to the front of house and even the management, everyone was a part of the process. We picked the structure, we picked the strain of seeds, the growing medium, and the organic fertilizers. What we did is we gave the kitchen staff the control of the rooftop farm. And in a very beautiful, poetic way, it's the same people that are cooking the food that are actually harvesting it. This not only lets us control the quality of the produce, but also helps us reduce our wastage. Because they grow to cut, they know exactly how much they need, and if they ever fall short, they can go back and cut some more. This also made us less vulnerable to the market. Because we grow our own green, we have a lot more ownership over what we grow. We can also do things like grow a lot of exciting produce that's not available in the market easily because it's not as popular. Things like blue pea flowers, purple basil, Ceylon spinach. Another thing that we grow is our own microgreens. I'm sure you guys have seen these in a lot of grocery store shelves, and they're really expensive. But they're so easy to grow. You can grow them in your own house. And we do this so that we can garnish all our dishes with it. Another thing that our rooftop farm helped us do is be more sustainable as a business. Because we grow on our own rooftop, it means that our produce doesn't travel any miles. We call this zero carbon produce or carbon-free ingredients. Think about a lot of the fads and trends out there, the ones that tell you that this is the new superfood, or like, you have to have acai berries from South America, or organic avocados from Mexico. Think about the environmental strain on your eating habits, and ask yourself this: should your eating habits really have such a big environmental impact? Do we not have other nutritious foods in our own country, which is more indigenous to our lands, that we can use and have? Another big thing that we promote in our rooftop is seasonality. It's very important. Like I mentioned, we only have 750 square feet of growing space, so that means that we can only grow to season, and greens that have very short grow cycles. This helps us get the highest possible yield from the produce. To highlight whatever we're growing that season in the rooftop, we also change our menu every season to highlight exactly what we're growing. Our rooftop farm, it's a great part of our restaurant, but it's never something that we've used to define our concept. It's something that's there for us, which helps us communicate our idea of clean eating for our customers. We've set up a small display farm in our rooftop where we actually allow our customers to come up and feel the quality of the produce. This enables them to understand the difference between the pesticide-laden produce and the really fresh ones. And because seeing is believing, we want them to do this so that they can feel more closer to the concept. A lot of people tell me, they're like, I can't believe that there's an urban farm in the middle of Breach Candy. And when I set up Candy and Green, I wanted to be more than a restaurant. I wanted to support this entire lifestyle of clean eating. I wanted to show people that clean eating is not just for the rich, and it's accessible to everybody, not just the few. I wanted to bust this myth. One thing that I always tell people that they can do is they can set up their own kitchen farm. And a great way of doing this is growing hydroponically. Hydroponics is a great innovation in farming. It's basically soilless farming. It uses water, which is mixed with the mineral nutrients that feeds the plants. This is something I really recommend for homes because there is no soil, there is very less chance of infestation, it's very less messy. And you can use it to grow a couple of your own household greens like your tulsi and your coriander, even your herbs. And it's great to have ownership over your food. You see, what basically I'm saying is, when you have ownership over your food, you no longer need to be scared of what you're eating. You don't need to give in to fads and trends. Food does not have to be complex to be beautiful. Thank you so much.